Welcome to episode number 96 of the Beyond Social Media Show, the podcast for marketing, advertising, public relations, communications professionals. We're recording live on Google Hangouts on air on May 16, 2015. I'm David Erickson, your co-host. I'm with B.L. Ochman. You're also co-host. And today's story is the worst. In the worst category, we have violent coasters. Rick Santorum has a blunder, PR pitch from hell, Facebook instant stories, settling for Verizon, and European mobile networks want to block ads. In the best categories, we have hungry mistakes, Apple Watch for the deaf, BB King, the best. In shiny new stuff, we have Strims, the Lily camera, and we'll wrap it up with some daily numbers about traditional news consumption. BL, you always have the honors. What was the worst story? Tell me about the worst story of the week.
Hey, Dave. The worst story I came across this week was, it's called The Violent Coasters. It's done, I found this in Osokyo by Tim Megginson, and it was done by Ogilvy&Mather Japan, who should be ashamed of themselves. It's a new campaign that is done for a bar chain in Japan, and we really need to have a conversation about the way that campaigns address violence against women. So what happens with this is there are pictures of typical Japanese women on this set of coasters. When a person puts their cold drink down on the coaster, the cold causes the ink to reveal bruises on the women's faces. And so when you lift your glass, you see this horrible image of a woman who has been hit. And, so what if you are a victim of violence? What if you're drunk and being drunk fuels violence? It's a well-known fact. What is wrong with them? That is disgusting.
I can't believe. I mean, I'm stunned that it's for a bar chain. I could see it as a PSA campaign for raising awareness for battered women. That it worked that way, but oh my God. Who thought that was a good idea?
Well, it is supposed to raise awareness about battered women, but it's the wrong environment to do it in. You don't do it when people are drinking. You don't know where that's going to lead, and you just don't surprise people that way. You don't know how that's going to affect a victim. I mean, that's just awful.
Yeah.
Boo. Go ahead, Dave. Give us one of yours.
All right, so Facebook Instant Articles rolled out on mobile this week. My colleague Vanessa DeBruin has a blog post about it. They are partnering with major media. If you haven't heard of it, they're partnering with major media to allow media companies to publish directly within Facebook. So the New York Times, BuzzFeed, NBC, The Atlantic are all partnering with Facebook to do this. The articles load much faster than a link to one of their websites. So because it's published within Facebook, the articles are loading a lot faster. Publishers are getting 100% of the ad revenue for this partnership. So Facebook's not taking any of the cut unless they handle selling the ads themselves, in which case they're going to take probably the 30% cut of what they standard do. And the Atlantic actually is having Facebook handle their ad sales. As I said, it's rolling out on the Facebook app. I haven't actually seen anyone yet, but they have some video showing how it works. So my question is, what's in it for the publishers? The publishers know that from their own experience that Facebook drives traffic to their site. So they get a more direct access to Facebook users. They get that ad revenue, right? They'll get analytics with it. But my question with somebody like BuzzFeed, who has pioneered branded content and native advertising, are they going to be able to publish native ads through the platform, right? So is this because it could be a huge draw for advertisers, but I also think it's a huge risk for publishers because they're basically giving up their control over their content. Facebook can change their algorithms, can change how Facebook works to suit their needs. What's in it for Facebook, though? So they're not taking any of the ad dollars, so why do it? I think they see the same thing that publishers do. They see that they're driving traffic outside of Facebook to news websites. So if they keep more of their people, more people inside Facebook, more of the time there's more opportunities to advertise to them. And it's a direct challenge to Google, right? If you're keeping news traffic outside of within Facebook and not on the web, then Google doesn't get a take of that advertising opportunity. But I also think in the end, it sort of creates the risk of a walled garden. So the web becomes Facebook, and it makes it a lot harder for individuals to create a presence. For startups to create a presence, you have to have significant resources in order to really make a splash online. So I think it's an interesting development and something we should keep an eye on.
Well, what I think about it is that it is not what Facebook is about. I mean, what everybody says about Facebook is that that's where they go to be in touch with their friends and family. And, you know, I think that Facebook is going not just outside itself, but outside what it's really there for, which is to be a place to interact with your friends and family. So what's in it for the publishers is that they're in desperate straits in terms of viewership, and they'll do anything they can to get more people to read their content. But, you know, to me, this is not it. I don't go to Facebook for the news. I go for the news to Twitter. I go for the news to Google. I go for the news to a lot of different places, but Facebook isn't it. I find that irritating. That just keeps me from the content that I go there for, which is to know whose birthday is it and who had a baby and who became a grandfather. You know, I mean, that's what Facebook is to me, nothing more.
Yeah.
So I think it's a mistake, but we'll see. Maybe we'll both be wrong. So I got 2 PR pitches from hell this week, and my favorite pitch from hell, would you be interested in an embargoed interview with XYZ executive from XYZ Data Group this week on regarding a major product launch of a comprehensive suite of solutions that marks XYZ's commitment to account-based marketing? Why would I care about that? So my response was, I would never be interested in embargo news unless it was a cure for cancer. Your client has no news, let alone news that should have an embargo. Take me off your list. So I no sooner get done with that than I get an email from a foreign land saying, how would you feel about publishing content on your blog for $6 for a 500-word article? I write back, I say, that is exploitation of writers. I would never consider doing that. The person writes back and says, I don't understand. Is that too much money? So I wrote back and said, please don't bother me. So this morning I get an email from the person in another land, and he says, well, then how about $15 for 500 words? Oh my God.
I don't know.
What can you answer? You know, I already said, please go away. I mean, now what can I tell him? Isn't that fun? $15 for 500 words, and it'll be original and you know, only for my blog. Like, oh my God.
Points for persistence, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know what you mean. Is that too much? We can do it for less. Okay, tell us another.
Yeah, so this was called out by listener Alex Johnson. Can't wait to hear what we have to say about never settle for Verizon. I think we have something to say about it. So this is from an Adweek article by Christopher Heine on never settle for Verizon campaign. On Thursday, T-Mobile bought the promoted tweet on Twitter. Or promoted trend on Twitter. With that, you get basically exclusive rights for the 24-hour period. It costs around $200,000, and they use the hashtag Never Settle for Verizon, linked to an ad that criticized Verizon. And, you know, I mean, it's sort of you're risking a lot when you directly criticize a competitor. And not surprisingly, many T-Mobile customers, former T-Mobile customers, tweeted the protest, and some claimed to have moved to Verizon, which is what I did. So, T-Mobile, you know, when you do something like this, think it through. We always talk about thinking through your campaigns. It seemed fairly obvious that you're asking people to tell their bad customer service stories. So many years ago, Yeah, I was a T-Mobile customer for more than a decade, and needed to upgrade something or something, and the person I talked to basically said, well, yeah, I can get an upgrade, and didn't, and I had to extend my my service contract, but what they didn't tell me, it was stacked. They made it clear to me on the phone that it would just continue for a couple of more months or whatever. But what they did was add 2 more years on to the end of my current contract, which was a lot.
That's what they all do, though. That's what they all do, and that's what happened to me with AT&T. You know, they all do that. It's a horrible practice, and they do it because they can. There are no regulations against it. I mean, you know, I hate to say,
I will say this, I switched to Verizon, and Verizon hasn't done that to me. So I have been very happy with Verizon.
Let me tell you what happens.
I've just told my bad T-Mobile customer service, thank you for never settled for Verizon, so I can tell that story.
Well, you know what happens to my brother? We laugh about this all the time. My brother keeps getting these emails that say, because you're such a good customer, we're going to give you another gig of data. My brother is now up to 8 gigs of data for his family plan. Now, I have 2, and I have never used more than half of 1. So that's a hell of a lot of data. And then they lowered his bill to half of what it had been before. He's never even called them. We're like, you did something. You have to tell us what you did. We want to tell everybody how to do it.
Well, I mean, you know, companies got to figure out that it costs more to regain a customer than to maintain them. So do what you can to hold on to your customers, retain your customers, rather than trying to win them back after you've lost them.
Well, he didn't get lost. So, okay, this is really bad, and I just have to say it. Rick Santorum, who is rumored to be one of the 5 million Republican candidates for president, called President Obama a nigger this week. You don't do that. He could kiss his campaign goodbye. That's all I have to say. I'm done.
We used to have dog whistle politics.
What's that?
Just dog whistle politics is when you use coded words to communicate with a certain audience, and racist politicians would use certain words to communicate with their racist views without saying them outright. But they've thrown away the dog whistle. They've thrown away the dog whistle. They're not bothering with that anymore.
No. Everybody just says everything. You know, I mean, it's really scary. What is this about? No more ads on social networks?
Yeah, so this is from a Next Web article by Owen Williams. European carriers have reportedly installed ad blocking software in their data centers to block advertising in web pages and apps, but not social networks. So it's for mobile European carriers. It's not limited to one European network. All of them are apparently doing it, and it's intended. Obviously, it's intended to break Google's hold on advertising in Europe. Google's been fighting a lot of battles in Europe, and this is just insane. So if I have a website that my own website, I depend on advertising for some money. I mean, you're going to block my stream of revenue just because it's stupid.
Well, it is, and it's really, you know, sort of anti-competition, which is not a good thing either.
It is. It's trying to give European companies an edge over Google, but not Facebook apparently.
Right. Well, I can't imagine that it will stay. Well, Facebook's advertising is within Facebook. I mean, you can't really block that. Is that what you meant?
That's true.
Yeah. So does this bring us to better news?
It does indeed. What do you got?
Well, I got a fun one. Snickers, I got this from the Telegraph UK. Snickers is using stickers to point out embarrassing mistakes. And so people post these images of these mistakes on social media with the hashtag hungry mistakes. So there's things like somebody took a picture of a door, and there's a big sign that says enter here, and then right below it there's a sign that says do not enter, hungry mistake. You know, you're not yourself when you're hungry. And then there was another one where, like, there's a staircase, and the banister, instead of in the direction that you could hold it when you go down, is the opposite way. So that is one. And there's just scores of them. They're hilarious. I mean, you really will get a kick out of it when you take a look at what people have found.
It's very cool. They should get Weird Al Yankovic involved. He's got some videos where he's pointing out mistakes in public places about grammar.
Oh, I love him. I just love him. He's so cool. So give us one of yours, Dave.
Well, it could be in worst, but it's also in best. So it's both sad, B.B. King's passing, but it's in best because he was the best, absolute master of blues and wonderful musician. The New York Times' Tim Weiner had a great obituary, and he's an amazing story. He rose from being a sharecropper to the king of blues, a extraordinarily successful musician, artist, and businessman. But there's a couple of paragraphs from the end of that obit that I have to read because it's brilliant. So growing up on the plantation, this is B.B. King talking. Growing up on the plantation there in Mississippi, I would work Monday through Saturday noon. I'd go to town on Saturday afternoon, sit on a street corner, and I'd sing and play. I'd have a hat or a box or something in front of me. People that would request a gospel song would always be very polite to me, and they'd say, "Son, you're mighty good. Keep it up. You're going to be great one day." But they never put anything in the hat. But people that would ask me to sing blues song would always tip me and maybe give me a beer. They would always do something of that kind. Sometimes I'd make $50 or $60 one Saturday afternoon. Now you know why I'm a blues singer.
I love that. I love that. But, rumor has it he wasn't a very nice man. So, but he sure was. I mean, my friend Dick Waterman, who I was telling you before the show, is one of the only non-musicians ever inducted in the Blues Hall of Fame because he was the manager of all of the blues greats, including at one point B.B. King, and who photographed B.B. King throughout his career. So on dickwaterman.com, you can see his remarkable photographs. And, he published a beautiful photograph yesterday, and then the caption just said, "The thrill is gone." And that is true. There's nobody like these people. That's what Eric Clapton said in his tribute. He said, that's it. I mean, we owe it to them because they made us who we are, and there are no more of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sad. I've been listening to
the guy was touring last year, as late as last year. I mean,
that is pretty remarkable. That's like Frankie Manning. I mean, I took class with him like 6 weeks before he died at the age of 93. I mean, there was a very special breed of person. It remains to be seen whether any of the current generations will have this kind of staying power. I don't know. I think we're lazier than they were. I found a really nice story about a 17-year-old Polish entrepreneur who made the Apple iWatch easier for deaf people to use. And the source was Business Insider. It was Matt Weinberger. And basically what happened was the kid made an app that used the signs that hip-hop singers use to communicate, like you were talking about before, to say things without words. And it turned out that you could also easily make symbols with international sign language. And so he developed an app that does that, and that will allow users of the iPhone watch who are deaf to communicate much more easily by using this app. I think that's pretty terrific. And it was like his fourth company. He's 17.
Wow.
I love kids like that. I just love them.
Yeah.
So
you got anything else, or are we on the shiny new stuff?
We are, and there's one that launched this week called Strims, and it's a live broadcast for any platform, including your website, which is what I like about it. You can live stream to all social media. You can broadcast live video on your Facebook wall. You can broadcast it on directly onto Facebook. People can share your stream on their wall, and you can embed it on WordPress or any other website, and you can tweet the live video. And it's available for all platforms, and it is free. And, we were talking about this before. It's rather astounding that YouTube doesn't have a live streaming app right now. It's not like this just happened yesterday. This has been around for a while, and they're all competing with each other. And, where's the killer app from YouTube? I'm waiting.
Exactly. So do you know if Strims saves the video anywhere?
I believe it does. I haven't tried to save it. I believe it does.
Right. So yeah, I'll definitely try that out. It'll be interesting to see how, as this, as people start using this, if Facebook will change its algorithm to keep you from playing it live on their those little pissing matches that occur when everybody's got a live streaming app now.
That is what's happening. That's what happened on Twitter. That's what, I mean, what annoys me so much about the videos on Facebook is, okay, I want to share them in somewhere, and I have to go to YouTube and look up, they're all on YouTube. I have to go to YouTube and look it up by the title because I don't really want to share anything from Facebook on Twitter.
Yeah. So my cool tool, my shiny new object is Lily Camera. So Lily Camera is basically, it's a camera drone. It's a
drone.
Yeah, it's a drone with a high def camera attached, coupled with a GPS wristband. So you have a wristband on your wrist that has GPS on it. You have the drone. You throw the drone up in the air and it just starts flying, and it follows you around. And it's the new selfie. It follows you around wherever you go. And so the video for the demonstration of it shows people skiing down a slope, and it's following you down the slope. So it's apparently not that smart. I mean, it's smart enough to follow you around because of GPS, but you can't do it in like a wooded area. You can't avoid objects and stuff like that. But this is the evolution of the drone technology. It keeps getting better and better. And pretty cool. They're taking pre-orders for $500. So there you go.
Tell the truth. Did you order one?
I did not. I think I'm going to wait for the second generation. I think I learned my lesson finally with Google Glass. Well,
Google Glass reportedly is working on some new things, and it won't just be eyeglasses. So we'll see what comes of that. And I also read...
Maybe they'll send me a free version of whatever they get in compensation.
Yeah, dream on, my friend. And I also read that the Google car is ready to hit the streets. The driverless one, that ought to be a lot of laughs.
Yeah, well, I can't wait for that. That'd be cool.
Well, I would kind of like one of those,
Absolutely. So, wrapping it up?
Yes.
All right, daily numbers. Traditional news consumption trends. This is from Nielsen. And key audience trends. So network news, the audience growth is up 5%. Evening audience growth is up morning audience growth is up 2%. Cable news is down. Primetime median viewership is down 8%. Local television news is up 3%. Average evening broadcast TV news is up 3%. And newspapers down, daily and Sunday circulation down 3%. The declines for newspapers were felt across all papers of all sizes, and newspaper weekly circulation has now fallen 19% since 2004. So that will help explain their eagerness to get involved with Facebook too.
I'm surprised that news consumption on TV is up in any time slot, actually.
I'm not for local news.
I guess not. I guess local news is pretty much the only place you're really going to get it at the same time every day. But, what always surprises me is how much of the things that happen never get to the news. I mean, you can probably hear them now. There's sirens going. I don't know what's going on. It's been going the whole time we've been talking, and I will never find out what that was. There are things that happen that you only find out about online. Sorry about the sirens. There's not a damn thing I can do about it. So that brings us to the end of episode 96 of the Beyond Social Media Show. And you'll find links to all of the stories that we covered, the original articles that we covered at BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/96. And we would love you to leave us a review at BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/love. My co-host is the charming David Erickson. He's at D Erickson on Twitter. He does eStrategyBlog.com, CreativePR.com/blog, which is a great blog. You should check it out. I'm BL Ochman. I'm at What's Next on Twitter. My blog is What's Next Blog. I am president of Maximum-Plus.com for live streaming events and all things Google+. You will find the show online at BeyondSocialMediaShow.com. On Twitter, we're at BS Media Show. On Facebook, we're Beyond Social Media Show. And our newsletter, which has exclusive content and also the stuff that we can't fit into the half hour that we do the show with is in the newsletter, and it goes out every Sunday, and you can subscribe at BeyondSocialMediaShow.com/newsletter. We are also on iTunes and Stitcher, and if you don't have time to watch, how about listening? So that's it for this week. We'll be back next Saturday, same time, same station, and we thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching.